What are your biggest takeaways, first of all, Nobby, from the game on Sunday?
Well, I thought we were scruffy, particularly in the first half. London were, to complement London, they were very good, they were very fit. We thought they were all the things that they would be, organised and determined to make an impression, and they did. And so we grew into the game. The second half was a whole lot better. We rectified a few rights and wrongs. Probably disappointed with some of our... We're all disappointed, all of us disappointed with how we probably attacked in the end. But in the end we got there, and at the start of the year I'm worldly wise enough to understand that the result was important, and backing up after Castleford and all the emotional highs, etc, etc, I think it was a good day at the office.
What's been the main focus for you since obviously debriefing the game and coming back to training on Tuesday night?
Well, understanding what we do well and what we don't do well. I thought our defence was magnificent again, and had to be. You know, London threw a lot of challenges at us, and we were up to those challenges. We've set ourselves certain goals, and we actually completed some of those goals, particularly without the ball. And they're good signs at the start of the year, because you know, as the, and this is no disrespect to London, but as the quality of the opposition goes up, we're going to be tested. And what I do know is the resolve amongst the players and the fitness levels are a lot higher than last year.
Seems to be a real sense of optimism at the minute, after the Cas wins and London, obviously. Mm-hmm. Is that something you're sensing as a coach, and obviously as a Bulls fan as well?
I think there's optimism right across the board, but there always is at the start of the year, and that will be tempered, I think, by results. So we have to face the challenge game by game. It's not the first time you've heard me say that. With a difficult, if you're at Hunslet, you're thinking a home opener against the Bulls. Could be a good crowd, a great atmosphere. So they'll be sensing an upset and a challenge to us. So we've got to be ready and good at what we're good at. And the element of football, we'll have a little bit more information about Hunslet than we probably had about London. So we shouldn't be surprised by anything that they can do. They've got some talented players in their team. I've seen their roster. I've seen a couple of players that I think, yeah, we've got to be careful of those. So we'll have to be ready. It's another challenge for our approach to the game.
I want to touch on the new signings as well. You've obviously Armitage and Blake impressed at the weekend. Uh-huh. How pleased are you with the impact they're making already after only playing a couple of games? Yeah,
I'm pleased with them, but I'm also pleased with the other 15 that played and the squad collectively. I think that we've all highlighted the competition within the group. What we probably haven't mentioned is the camaraderie within the group is very, very good. And that can only be a good thing at this time of the year. We'll probably have a look at another couple of players this weekend, you know, from our top squad, and which is brilliant for us and for them. And then, you know, week 3, week 4, week 5, we're into the tough stuff. So, you know, we have to select the right teams for them as well. But I'm very pleased with the team.
How are Joe Keys and Jayden Okunbor getting on? Obviously, sat out the game at the weekend, and if they are fit, do they come straight back into contention?
Yeah, they're definitely. Well, Ock probably won't make it. Is the reality there? Joe Keys, we're hoping will be right, so we'll have a look at him tonight and on Friday. And it's important that he starts getting into a rhythm as well as everybody else. So yeah, he's clearly in line for selection. And we're going to have to look at the team. You know, keeping the balance is important. Keeping our principles is important. And we had a really good review on Monday night, which highlighted some of the things we can do better. And the commitment to get better from this group is very good.
How important is it to almost keep the right balance, Brian? Obviously, the lads who came in, particularly Sam Hallerton, players who've been on the fringe, for them to almost know their worth and make sure they can retain the place after a good performance like that.
Well, they know their worth. I'm pretty sure that they know what they can offer, but at the end of the day, they're like any of us. You've got to produce it on the field, and that's the criteria. That's the main criteria for the team. I'm confident that everybody's pushing hard to get into the team, and taking the opportunity when they're there and showing us what they've got is what this year's all about. Yeah, I'm pleased with where we're at.
On Hunslet, obviously it's going to be a big game for them. Their fans are going to be really up for it, and they're probably going to sense it is the biggest game of the season, with it being such a close derby. How important is it you almost don't get drawn into the emotion of the fixture?
Well, it's brilliant for the game. It's a big opener. It's not. I don't think it's going to end up being their most important game of the season, but they'll be billing it as that for a start, because anybody would. It's the start of their home campaign. They want to be strong at home, as everybody aspires to be. And it's going to be tough early on, definitely. And if we don't do the right things, then it could be tough for 80 minutes. But we have to recognise what we're good at and do what we're good at. I'm looking forward to seeing some of their players, particularly Billy Jowett has been playing in the centre, so it'll be nice to see Billy again. So I think we really need to be on top of our mental approach to this game. I think, I generally understand that we probably won't know the true dynamics of our team till around maybe 6, 7, 8, 9.
What do you know about Hunslet other than Billy Jowett as a team?
We know a few things. They like to throw the ball around. They move the ball quite a lot, so we need to be ready for that. And they've got some strike, they've got some pace out the back, and a couple of players that can trouble you if you don't pay attention to them. So again, it's as much about us and our approach to the game as it is about them. We'll be ready for what they've got to offer, but we have to put the actions. We can see all the pictures we want and make all the comments that we want wherever we make them, but we have to make that approach and that information and take it into a game.
Finally, in terms of injuries and potential fitness issues, is there any more for this weekend to worry about?
I haven't been into the medical room, so Ockenberg won't feature.
Yeah,
he's probably, I think, the only one that's not available. I think.
Brian, you mentioned after that London game that not every game at Championship level is a gimme. How valuable do you feel that lesson your players learn against London will be moving forward? Because there's a number of players who were featuring in the Championship for the first time on Sunday against London.
Yeah, the Championship's a tough competition, and it's like experience. Sometimes you've got to go through it to experience it and to get that experience, and we will learn week by week that there are no gimmies in the Championship. Everybody will have a narrative or a reason why they need to rock up and show up, and that's been my experience over the last 2.5 years, outside of the inner circle, if you like. It's no different this year. There are 8 or 9 teams out there, and probably more, all of them, that will turn you over if you don't rock up. So that's our challenge. That's our challenge week in, week out, and to take it week in, week out. Otherwise, you can surely get lost in the flow. There'll be times when we batch teams into certain groups as to what we think we can do over it. But my experience is it's pretty hard to go on a run in the Championship, and so we have to value every point, and every point's difference at the end of the year may make a massive difference. So whilst not many people will be speaking that at the start of the year, I think it's important right across the board.
You mentioned the P word, patience.
Yeah.
Is that something you've reiterated, looked at, spoken about this week at Tong?
Yeah, I think our willingness to play football at the weekend without doing some of the things that makes our football effective was one of our issues. And I mentioned that after the game, and I reinforce that now. Our players are aware of that. We're aware of it, all of us, and so we'll be looking to put that right.
I know we've not mentioned this yet, Brian. Eben Skur went to the sin bin. Are you happy with that? Obviously, when you watch it back, my belief, Eben doesn't do that. London probably score out wide.
He's definitely in the ways, Eben. I don't know what else he could do. The player was right in front of him. We spoke about it. We spoke about it as a collective. Listen, I don't know what else you were going to do there, Eben. I actually think we had 7 or 8 players back, so we would have defended it. That's my own belief, but Eben didn't believe that at the time. We'd been fractured. Only one or 3 or 4 times in the game we got fractured from our own doing. And he made that decision, and we support him wholly. When you're out there in the middle of the muck and the bullets and the mud, sometimes you make a decision and it wasn't through malice, and it wasn't through he thought we were struggling for numbers. So I fully support him on that one.
Brian, you've been in this game a long time. As you know, there's moments in every season where those sort of aesthetics don't matter and everything is about winning the result. But
Yeah.
there was some good qualities in display, especially in that second half, that defensive performance, and probably more so that ability to grind out a win. These are very tough conditions. We've just spoken to Wonga Blake, you know.
I bet he's never been as cold in his life, has he?
He's just said, Brian, he's waiting for the drier tracks, you know, so he can obviously display, you know, his attributes and
He was a
skills.
standout as well at the weekend, let's not forget. So, yeah, the start of the year is well documented. It's as much about your mindset, I've said this before to you, as well as your skill set. And sometimes you just got to roll your sleeves up because it's cold, it's wet, the wind's blowing, and it kind of levels the playing field out. So you have to show that you've got those attributes as well as your skill set. And I think in the second half we showed both. And I thought the scrum play was delightful from Wonga to JT in the corner there when they were outnumbered, 4 defenders to 3 to find that space. It augurs well for when we get the drier tracks. But yeah, these boys are fully committed to what we're trying to achieve, and it's a fair reflection. Sometimes you just got to roll your sleeves up.
You just mentioned mindset. Obviously, you want your side to focus on themselves, but has there been any? A lot of these championship clubs will look at Bradford in 2025, spending a lot of money, a lot of quality, a lot of depth. A lot of people have Bradford as favourites, you know, raise the game, you know, to try and take us down.
Yeah, there's a big target on us, but there's a big target on Oldham, there's a big target on York, there's a big target on, in my mind, there's a big target on Featherstone, there's a big target on Widnes. I could keep going through the whole lot. You know, if you go to Barrow and you're undercooked, there's a big target on you there. We have to learn to live with that. There's nothing surprising there. The fact that the club has a name, if that's a brand, if you like, everybody knows about the Bradford Bulls and everybody perceives that we're breaking the bank to do things. We're certainly not in any way, shape or form. So yeah, with that championship aspiration, that Super League aspiration, comes a target, and it's good that they talk about us in that way. It's good that they'll have to pay attention, but if we get it right, they'll have to pay attention to us as well.
It's the first reserve game of the season tonight. Bradford Castleford, Brian. There's no first team squad players in that squad. What are your thoughts on that approach?
Well, there is one. There's Elliot Paposhi's rocking up. He's going to play, and he's very much in our first team squad thoughts. I think as a young man, he's got a huge potential for the game, but he's probably the only one we can't fit in relation to the start of the year. So we have to give him a game somewhere, so I'm hoping there's people like Alfie Leake and Jamie Gill and Sam Ackroyd and Jacob Bateman and Harry and all of the kids that have been in and around the first team will be rocking up for the reserves, and they've got to show that they can still be a part of what we're trying to do with the first team. That's up to them. It's always the decision is made easier when they play well. So that's for them. But the reserves first hit out, Castleford. Yeah, I'll get up there a bit later on and see how we're going.
On Alfie Leake, he's signed a new 3-year deal.
Yeah.
How pleased are you to get that over the line? Another one of those young homegrown players committing to yourself, the club, and this journey everybody's on.
I'm thrilled. There's a lot of potential in his club at that level. But for them to realise that potential, it's probably down to them again. They'll get great guidance, and the coaches here, I think, know what they're talking about, and over the years when Bradford hasn't been in a position to keep its best players, you know, we've seen how well they've gone on at other clubs. I'm certainly one. If you look at my record when I was here previously and all the other clubs I've been at, if you can promote from within, it's a whole lot easier than trying to find people all over the place in the coming years. So yeah, I'm thrilled that Alfie signed, but his journey starts now, and but I have high hopes for him.
And for you on a personal level, Brian, we're privileged here at Tong. The fans probably can't see the plaques along the corridor, which has every homegrown player since 1996 that has come from the academy, the scholarship, up and featured in the first team. If you look at it and the years, it goes 96 right up to Jacob Bateman last year. Is that what you would like these young players to do? Put enough pressure on you so that at some point in 2025 that continuity, another homegrown player makes his first team debut?
Well, I think I was involved in, I don't know how many's up there, 40 odd, I don't know. I think I'm involved in 23 of them, 24 of them getting their debuts. So I think that's a reflection enough on what I think about proving your own talent. At the end of the day, it's down to the player and how hard they work and what they want, how much they want it. How dedicated they can be. These are the old expressions that we use, but they're still as relevant today as they've ever been. So they'll make that decision. We just need, as coaches, to be in a position to say, well, we need to give him a chance. He's playing that well, and they will get a chance.
Harry's touched upon it. Hunslet on Sunday. What are you expecting from that game, Brian? They won promotion last season. They've clearly got Dean Muir. When I spoke to him, he mentioned that winning culture. First home game for them, big crowd. Do you see this as a potential banana skin type of fixture?
Absolutely, yeah. All the journalists and all the pundits write it up that way because that's what makes sport, and professional sport particularly, so exciting. But we have to get ourselves into a rhythm and understand that not just this week for the start of Hunslet's home campaign, but for the coming weeks, for the reasons you've mentioned, we have to be prepared every week.
There was 3 changes last week.
Mm-hmm.
Are there going to be changes and fresh opportunities this week?
Yes.
Obviously you can't say who's in contention, but without naming players, some of those changes last week, Brian, they might be thinking that there's an opportunity to get another chance to further the impact of their performance last week.
Yeah, I hope they are thinking that. Yeah, definitely.
And when you obviously speak to the players like I do afterwards, a lot of them have referenced how much they're learning and growing under you and Lee Greenwood, and they always mention honesty, that transparency, 2 words that do come up.
Yeah.
How does that impact team performance and more importantly, that player growth that you want to see as a head coach?
Well, it's massively important. You have to tell people the truth. I don't know what else there is. You can't give somebody an opportunity. You give them the reasons why you can't give them an opportunity, and you give them the bits and bobs they need to fix up in their game to be part and parcel every week. There'll come a point in this season, at the start of this season, when we have to pick on what we think is our best team and start getting a rhythm about that. I'm excited by the team we'll put out this week, genuinely, because there'll be a couple of people getting an opportunity, but I can't go out there, I can't physically put my boots on and do it for them, but I also understand that the collective accepts those people, and they're not outsiders in any way, shape or form, and everybody within our group will want all of our players to do well every week, and that's what we've got to engender. It really is a collective thing this year if we want to be as successful as we want to be, but there are absolutely no gimmies. That's why going week by week, and maybe you can project this is our target for the month, but going beyond that it's cuckoo, fantasy football.
When you look at the fixtures, they're coming thick and fast now, Brian. Are you condensing fixtures into blocks? Because obviously Hunslet this weekend, potential banana skin. You're then in the 1895. You then got that round 3 fixture against Toulouse in the Challenge Cup draw has then sent you on the road to Salford. How are you addressing that sort of what is going to be a very tough, challenging month ahead for you?
Yeah, we do have to look at the month ahead. We do have to look at monthly challenges and what we want to achieve from it. I think there are 3 massively important fixtures, excluding this weekend, which is again, it's the start of our year, it's massively important. So then we go into the big stuff in my mind. I think, we've got to be ready, and part and parcel of what we've been doing and how we've been training is going into the start of this season. But we've got to get it right. We can get it wrong.
You asked for Leeds, you've got Salford. Is it too early to say what you expect Salford to look like? I mean, we all know what happened on Saturday against St Helens. Yeah,
too early. As coaches, we can start looking at Batley, a little bit of Toulouse. We've seen some of the Toulouse stuff from the Widnes game. Our main focus is this weekend. We have to get this game against Hunslet right. It's important that we keep our momentum going.